what's going on, everyone, and welcome to the newest Panel B podcast here on Wednesday. I'm your host, Alex Jankowski. Joining me, we have Julian Edlow, a glass of something.
Cheers.
Being held by Steve Buchanan.
Red Balls! What?
No Chappelle Show fans?
Oh, yeah.
I do Step
That would
Brothers last show. Nobody gets it. Nobody gets Chappelle Show. You guys just don't enjoy comedy.
I do actually like Chappelle Show a lot, but that was like, 15 years ago? Like, I'm sorry that the
Live in the
reference
now.
wasn't, right off the top of my head.
Moving on.
I am now quoting Wayne's World, which is even older. No, but Steve's hyped. He's got a Red Bull, so shh, no free ads. He's got a drink that will provide him energy, so suffice to say, if he drinks it during the show, he will be energized. We're going to talk a lot of fun things today, though. MLB, probably not one of those fun things because we just want the regular season to end, but some cool things happen that we'll touch on. Obviously, NFL previewing the Thursday night game, Sunday as well. Going to actually make some picks. A couple picks, kind of hold you guys accountable for once. And then a really fun all-time stack that we'll touch on, Desert Island themed.
So all of us are trapped together on that desert island, by the way.
Yes, so if you can guess what the weapon is that everyone will bring, all the power to you. Let's talk, though, about the MLB, because at this time of year, like I said, with expanded rosters, so many teams just mailing it in, it is hard to get a lot of fun out of maybe fantasy or on the betting front, but some cool storylines at least last night with Kevin Biggio hitting for the cycle, Yastrzemski homering as well, Mike Yastrzemski at Fenway. So some familial ties, did those at least intrigue you?
I mean, the Red Sox season is over when they're so hyped to see Yastrzemski come to the park and then applaud his home run. All right, you did it!
A Red Sox legend's grandson on the opposing team.
Yes! That was something I was hyped about.
What a fall from grace from last year when we were watching that World Series run.
Right. But, beggars can't be choosers. We're the last people to complain about championship droughts. This one-year drought's going to be a tough one until we get to February when the Patriots win the Super Bowl. But we're not here or there. But, yeah, like I said, Fenway Park hype about Yastrzemski. In a historic game, by the way.
How's that?
I think they used 50 pitchers. That's not the actual number, but it's 24 pitchers.
It's a very Panel B number to use.
24 pitchers in that game threw over, I think it was 700
It was really
pitches.
24, though?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you go and look at that game log.
I don't watch baseball anymore.
Okay, so I was on my phone checking the game log this morning, and I had to scroll twice to get through the whole damn thing because there was so many pitchers used, which is ridiculous because it was this is such a meaningless game for both sides. The Red Sox are out of it, not officially. The Giants are out of it, not officially. So maybe they're really striving for that.
Actually, if you
push.
look at DK Sportsbook, the last two teams with odds to still win the World Series because they are alive is the Red Sox at plus. What is this number?
200,000. How many zeros?
Yeah, I was gonna say 20,000, but it's 200,000, and the San Francisco Giants at plus 500,000.
So just think about that for a second. So
nope, we're not taking them.
No. no.
Just play this out for me here.
All right, so hear me out. No, but what an unbelievable disaster. Because they were, I think, third to open up or did they open up as favorites? They were in the top three. I can definitely say that. But
no, they weren't. The Yankees were favorites to win the division.
Okay, so it must have been the Yankees.
I think it went Yankees, Red Sox, Dodgers.
I think you're right.
Then Houston, and now obviously
that's
the
right.
Yankee
I think
move.
you're right. But what a massive collapse. They just had that amazing season last year, but they're gonna barely be over a 500 team this year. And, we're hyped about a legend's grandson making his grand entrance at Fenway Park in a meaningless September game.
I think they'll be okay.
Oh, they'll be fine.
At least they have Andrew Kashner.
Yes, well, you stole my thunder here. So 24 pitchers were used last night. Hero of the show, Andrew Kashner, 2 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout. No decision. 22 other pitchers in that game did not factor in the decision.
Just a disaster, though. This is one of those things that, we talk about how long the season is, and this is one of them.
It's September baseball. September baseball kills baseball. It's one extra month that isn't necessary.
Yep.
The season could easily end on August 31st.
Yep.
And the roster thing just makes the pitching changes and
So brutal.
it's just September. That's my only problem. Like, I love baseball. If you eliminated the 1 month of extra games and the roster expansion, it would be fine. Good regular season. I still enjoy the postseason.
We did bring up that starting next year they will eliminate the 40-man roster. It'll be just 28.
And eliminate 40 games?
No, it's 28.
No? Okay.
No.
I think it's 26 though, right? It's not. They let you have one extra guy?
Sure. I'll take that. Either or. It's much fewer than 40. How about that?
Fine.
It's a start.
So you know what happens? Alex is wearing this really fancy watch today. Go ahead, show the viewers at home. So now he thinks he's above everybody.
It's not a fancy watch.
I was giving out, I think it's 26. He's rolling his eyes at me. Whatever. Good enough for me. So he's got his watch.
To our audio
Perfect
listeners,
transition.
Apologies for really the entire show so far, where we've talked about a drink that you cannot see and a watch that you cannot see. Shows up on YouTube though.
It is.
Give it a thumbs up.
We
hit
those.
like an all-time with 7, I think, last show.
Yeah,
So
that was
we're
good.
going places, and then we started the show talking about baseball. So hopefully you just skipped ahead, because now we'll just talk about football. Shouts out though to Kevin Biggio, 50 DK points yesterday, hitting for the cycle. Blue Jays, man. Team on the rise. Okay, Thursday night.
Yeah.
We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. It is your quintessential Thursday night matchup. You know you get it every year. We're just not getting Color Rush anymore. But Titans, Jaguars.
Titans-Jaguars
Play the
is
under.
Thursday night football.
Play the under, right?
Yeah.
It always seems to be Titans-Jaguars.
And when it's not, you yearn for it. But
it's Raiders Broncos.
So I will say one trend that we have so far is that the primetime games have been really tight. All 7 of them, the Thursday night football, the Sunday night football, the Monday night football, including the doubleheader, all 7 first-half unders have hit. And that includes that mess that we saw with the Jets on Monday night between the Jets and Browns at MetLife. So this one, it's been dropping. I think the total here opened at 40. Now we're at 38 and a half.
The only one under 40, but still.
And it's still tanking down. The first half under was originally at 20, I think. Now it's available at 19 and a half. It would be nice to get that 20 number on a push to help you out there a little bit. But even at 19 and a half, these two teams on a short week on a Thursday night with the primetime trend that we've seen, how slow these games have been getting out of the gate. I think if there's one side I feel comfortable on in this game, that it would be a first half under.
And just in terms of pace of play, 2 really, really slow teams, so that doesn't exactly help the scoring chances either in this one. So very rarely that I 100% agree with Julian. Congratulations. This is our second show of the week. Maybe I'm a little soft, but I agree.
At least there's some news to talk about with it, with Jalen Ramsey sounding off and not backing down from his desire to be traded. Any carryover that we might see there? I mean, I don't really think it's going to be a motivating factor for anyone, but at least it's something to talk about.
Well, here's what I was surprised about is if you look at his numbers so far this year, he's actually been not great. Like, he's been targeted against 17 times, allowed 11 receptions, 118 yards, and he's already been scored upon twice.
Right.
So
Watkins got him at least for one of those bombs, right?
So correct.
Really sways those numbers.
But in a sense, it's not the shutdown Rams that we've been seeing. Like, if you're going to start demanding a trade, at least have the numbers to back it up. Like, it's early. Like, give him that. But
he did shut down. He did do very good against Hopkins the following week.
No. And because just go back to those touches.
No.
Yes.
Oh, maybe I misheard your question.
It wasn't even a question. It was a statement.
Oh.
I said he did shut down DeAndre Hopkins the following week.
I'm sorry.
DeAndre Hopkins had 9 DK points.
Right, I'm sorry.
Against Jalen Ramsey.
But what I was looking at is...
It wasn't a question. It was a statement, and it was a true statement.
We all make mistakes. Like, me agreeing to do the show with you was a mistake, but here we are.
Gotcha.
But in terms of touchdowns, like, all of last year he gave up 2. The year before was 3. So we're already at the... so... That's just why I was curious by the timing from, because, starting off slow.
I think the timing of it is he saw Minkah Fitzpatrick get what he got and sent into a much better situation. So why not? He could view it, the agent could talk with the team, view it as a win-win. You're going to get, depending on what team you actually do the deal with, likely 2 first-round picks, at least one that's, if you do the deal right with the right team, could be at least in the middle of the first round and not at the end.
And it sounds like the Chiefs are the ones who are going hardest, which wouldn't be that
won't be
beneficial
the first
for the Jaguars.
Well, but then you can pressure them to add more to the deal. Reports were that if it was an AFC team, they'd have to include a player as well.
Right.
Caliber of that player, TBD. But
a first rounder in Mahomes is kind of a steep price.
Yeah, I'd be a little surprised if that one goes through. Was it Chad Henne, I think is the backup in Kansas City. Anyways, let's move forward to Sunday, though. We touched on it a little bit in the Monday show when the lines opened. Still, though, story of the week are these 2 spreads that just keep growing. Talking Patriots-Jets and then Cowboys-Dolphins. Either of those becoming playable for you, given where they're at?
If one is playable, I'm leaning Dallas.
Yeah.
Just because the Jets are at least going to try, and they have an aggressive defense that's capable, whereas the Dolphins are completely incapable on both sides of the ball, and they've just gotten run off the field twice by 40 points. So if there's one spot, I think it's that one. The Jets and Patriots, obviously, also a divisional game, which can tend to grind it out a little more. But the Jets' offense is just so bad in itself. If you're gonna play one, it's Dallas. It opened at 21, which is better than the 21.5 that it's obviously at. That half point can get you, I guess. The best part about these games to me, and I'm in no way recommending to do this,
Here it comes.
is that if you parlay the Jets and Dolphins money line, if you were to place $100 on that wager, the payout would be $28,500 on your $100. That's like a lottery ticket.
It really is.
And
on a 2-game parlay.
Yeah.
It is.
2 amateur football teams to beat 2 professional football teams. It's tough.
I in no way said that you should go out and do this.
I will say this: your sweat would at least be quick.
Yes. Fastest $100 you could ever lose, probably. But just that's never. I'm sure that we've never seen that, and maybe we will see it again this season with the way how some of these teams look. But to have 2 games in 1 week where you can look at 2 teams that are that heavily favored or that heavily lining up as underdogs is crazy.
One parlay that I like that is not as lucrative, unfortunately. You take the Cowboys covering the 21.5, but you pair that with the under of 47.5 plus 410.
Here's my only problem with the spread for the Cowboys. I think the Patriots are the only team in the NFL up by 4-3 or whatever it was that wouldn't pull their starters. Because Bill Belichick is a not family-friendly word when it comes to things like that, and will just keep their guys on our field. Dallas will pull their starters, and that's where I start to kind of get iffy on the spread because it's higher than when it closed with the Patriots playing the Dolphins. So that's where my concern comes in, that, if this is so out of hand by the second half, are we realistically going to see Elliott back out there?
It'll be the Tony Pollard show.
Right.
And that's wonderful. I think my counter argument would be on defense, if you're still working on a shutout.
Yep.
There is a lot of pride taken there in keeping that. And, it's not even so much stat padding as it is those quarterbacks are so awful.
Yep.
Those skill position players are so awful that we could see. I mean, we talked about it on Monday where the Patriots-Dolphins game was somewhat close, and then you had 2 defensive touchdowns that really blew the doors open.
Right.
The Dolphins can help the Cowboys there by handing them the 2 touchdowns like they did.
So I'm going to take what you're doing there and simplify it like I did for myself last week when I was looking at the Patriots.
Explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah, okay. like I did for myself last week, I really liked the Patriots-Dolphins under, which did hit by a few points, even though the Patriots scored 43. But I said I'm just going to focus on the Miami side here. And on Monday, we were talking team totals. Those are now out on DK Sportsbook. Do you guys want to take a stab at what the Jets and Dolphins team totals are?
Under 14 for both.
So the Jets check in at a underwhelming 10.5.
Wow,
and
that is
under
really low.
under 10.5 is minus 143.
Yeah.
So, I mean, DK Sportsbook is saying it would be really impressive if they get to double digits in this game.
Yes.
The Dolphins, this surprises me. I love this spot.
It's got to be under 10.
13.5
What?
Wow.
at minus 134. So even less juice than you have to lay on the Jets. Now, obviously 14 is a big number, but are the Dolphins going to score 2 touchdowns? No way.
Yeah. No,
13.5 team
that's
total on
surprising.
Miami. I think that is my new favorite spot of the week.
That's pretty shocking with the Jets, though. Like, okay, so I understand that they got their third
You
string.
you can't make a team total single digits. I've never seen that. So it's really more making it like 10 or 10.5, and then how much do you have to
What
lay?
was the Dolphins last week? Were they 10.5?
The Dolphins last week were 14.5.
Right.
Which I took against the Patriots and thought that was a good spot. It
Yeah.
had to go down this week with them
Because
on the
they
road.
well, and
I
they
thought
had
it was going to
scored
be
10.
10.5.
Yeah, they had scored 10 in their first game
Right.
against the Ravens, and
Now they're returning home.
You
Like
talk
I get
about-
I get the 14.5 last week, but now that we saw that, I thought it would be 10.
one line that in some places kind of off the board. We have it on the board on the DK Sportsbook right now, and of course, I will remind you that odds and lines are subject to change. See website for actual odds. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and would like help, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. That would be the Panthers and the Cardinals game because of so much uncertainty around Cam Newton right now. Even if he plays, clearly will not be 100%. The Panthers now are +2 going on the road to face a winless team in the Arizona Cardinals, starting a rookie quarterback with a rookie head coach. Thoughts on that, the Cardinals being -2 at home in this situation, where we don't know the quarterback situation for the Panthers?
So if everything is fine and Newton is healthy, I think the Panthers are easily.
Well, I think Newton's not going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I think you have to just say Newton's going to play,
Right.
but will not be mobile, which he really hasn't been this year anyways.
What my point was going to be was if Newton was healthy, like the Panthers would not only easily be favored, but probably favored by 6 or 7, I would think, because this is such a good matchup for them. They have no secondary, the Cardinals, because Peterson is still out, Alfred is still out, obviously. So their secondary is next to nothing. Then you got Samuels, DJ Moore, like there's so many Olsen. Like, there's so many positional guys in good spots that the Panthers would easily be, and then not even mention McCaffrey. The Panthers would even be in a good spot here. But because of the Newton being out, we're going to say he's going to be out. I'm still a little surprised that the Cardinals are favored here because it's just going to be handoff after handoff after handoff to McCaffrey or quick checkdowns with whoever's going to be.
Well, the Bucks were able to stop that
What's that
last
supposed
week
to
on
mean?
Thursday night.
What's that supposed to mean?
Are the Bucks like an elite defensive team?
You just like saying Bucks.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa was
The
able to
Bukes.
shut down McCaffrey. How about that, Bucks? What do you think?
That was an odd game for McCaffrey. Like, I don't think we'll see that again this week. Is that what you're alluding to?
No, I think McCaffrey's one of my favorite running back plays
Yeah.
this week.
Right.
But that also doesn't mean, I don't know. I think Arizona's maybe a little bit better than we're giving them credit for. They came back and got that tie with Detroit in week 1.
They're
They
super
played
Detroit, who then
Baltimore.
did go on and beat the Chargers.
Exactly. Detroit's a good-looking team, and I think Detroit's in a great spot in Philly this weekend with the Eagles, like, looking ahead to their – well, we can get to that later.
Let's take a
But
stance on this
sorry,
game first.
This game. We're on Arizona, Carolina. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I think Baltimore's probably a little overrated too with their wins against Miami and against Arizona at home. But Arizona being able to take that game down to the wire in Baltimore, I think they're a competitive team. I don't think they should be, the 13-point style underdog that we saw them in week 2 just because they're playing, a decent division winner playoff type looking team. So Carolina's looked bad. I think that this, at worst would be like a pick'em. And I think with Newton's situation, I think giving Arizona a point or two is fine. -130 on the money line. That sounds fair.
Yeah, I mean, I still just think, though, if you're talking overall talent, I would pick the Panthers in this one. And I'd probably look, plus 108 on the money line versus, if you want to if you want the 2 points, it's minus 110. And we'll see. I would almost rather not have Newton play and then just.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And then you're just not forcing the issue. I don't think, Kyle Allen or, Will Grier to me is interesting just because he was a guy that I think a lot of people really liked coming out of college. Mm-hmm. Obviously very prolific in that West Virginia offense. Looked awful in the preseason though, and I'd be shocked if they gave him the start. That said, if things went really south early with Allen, then maybe they go to him. But it'll be interesting one to see. I mean, as we just progress, I don't think Cam really will practice this week. As he's rehabbing, and then. He's going to push the play and has, and we talked about at the beginning of the season, pushing through an injury similar to the one that kept Luck out for a year. A lot of worries there. Hasn't looked super accurate, and they haven't really stretched the field much. And, it's going to be probably even the games they win are going to be close games. So not shocked to see it at 2. A little surprised, though, to see that it is the Cardinals at -2. What other games are we looking at? Do you want to? We can jump to Lions Eagles then, which sounds like Julian's got a bit of a lean on.
Yeah, it's a spot that jumped out to me earlier in the week just because we saw Philly on Sunday Night Football lose to Atlanta, get decimated with injuries, particularly at the wide receiver spots. It looks like Nelson Aguilar is going to be their number 1 receiver with not much behind him.
Yikes.
This weekend, and then Ertz obviously becomes kind of the de facto number 1 wide receiver because he's the most trusted target there. But it's in Philly, so obviously when you get the Lions on the road outdoors, that downgrades them a little bit. But the Lions have looked good. They did collapse in Arizona, but they still scored 27 points. They beat the Chargers in their home opener. And now they're going to face a Philly team. I don't like Philly's secondary, and obviously that offense is going to be limited. Kenny Golladay, number 1 wide receivers, have been torching Philly. We saw what Julio Jones did. That's obviously an extreme example, but Kenny Golladay should be in a really good spot for fantasy purposes. And I think it's 6.5 right now, but if you can get the half point and get it to 7, I think that getting 7 points with the Lions here against this Eagles team right now is a really safe spot.
Yeah, -6.5 for the Eagles makes no sense to me at all. Like 6.5 for the Lions is a slam dunk in my opinion. The Lions and Eagles have been 2 of the fastest paced teams in the league so far, but the Eagles have nobody to throw to. And even we talk about Ertz being the number 1 is not a bad thing, but he doesn't gain much when when he makes a reception. He's not like a big yardage guy.
Safety valve.
Yeah, it's
Crank
just
out
that's
a long,
all it is.
14-play drive.
Whereas the Lions have that. Golladay, Marvin Jones, they have that, and the Phillies have. I'm sorry, the Phillies. The Eagles have.
Baseball's done, Bukes.
I know.
And so are the Phillies.
The crossover time is so difficult, especially when you're writing. But whatever. The Eagles just have nobody to defend any of their receivers. They have absolutely no secondary. It was abysmal last year. They didn't make any changes for this year. It feels like it's even worse this year so far. And give Stafford credit. He's looked pretty sharp. We'll definitely start seeing him tail off probably in a few weeks because that's just what he does. But at least he's come out of the season firing, and I absolutely love this bet this week.
All right, now before we get to the much critically acclaimed and much anticipated all-time stack we're going to discuss today, I want to get 2 picks from each of you because we're all about #accountability here. Now that we have a show on Monday where we can go back and talk about what we did. Now, Julian, would I be correct in saying yours would be Lions plus 6.5 and Dolphins under 13.5? Or I don't want to speak for you here.
You're not speaking for me. Those are things that I will be on. I'm just looking if there's anything that I like better than those.
Okay, well, I'm ready.
Okay, Bukes, you go.
Go ahead, Bukes.
I like Jaguars plus 1.5 versus the Titans on Thursday, and the Chargers minus 3.5 against the Texans. I think Watson's going to have another nightmare game because that offensive line just cannot protect him. And going against the Chargers, that's not a team you want to have that problem against. So I think those are 2 really good spots for this week.
Yes, Lions plus 6.5. I would. Because it's only minus 106, I would love to buy that half point if you can and get Lions plus 7 at minus 115 or so. Just because that number is so important to have that 7. But yeah, Lions and then Miami team total at 13.5. You got to go there. And I just think if there's an underdog to play this week, I was surprised that the Falcons opened as underdogs in Indy.
Yep, I do agree with that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, well, if Bukes and I are on the same page on all this stuff, then
we're winning a lot of money this week.
Watch out.
Flash forward to Monday's show where they are weeping.
I can't believe
Openly
they all
weeping.
lost.
Here we go again.
Have the Mets won the World Series yet? All right.
We need that one.
All right, folks.
You're not going to give 2 picks? What's this?
Yeah, you got to get in on that.
Yeah. Oh, but we're accountable. You're not because you got a fancy
I'm the
watch.
host. I'm the
Because you
host.
got a fancy watch.
That is the reasoning. Hold on. My
I wasn't even ready. His idea.
We can loop back to him after Stacks if we want.
No, here we go.
You
All
got him?
right, I'm going to go Bengals +6 going up against the Bills. I think
Picking against his own
I am
team
going
is
to
his
pick
first
against
pick.
the
What the
Bills. I like the Bengals at +6 there. I think their offense is actually pretty good. I think they're going to be able to hit a couple deep balls, and the Bills only want to play close games. Like, they want to rely on the defense and run Frank Gore, because Singletary likely will not play either. So I'm going to go there.
And the second one is Dolphins-Jets moneyline parlay.
No, I'll go with that parlay that I discussed earlier. I'll go Cowboys.
There you go.
Cowboys cover, but the under hits. So Cowboys at -21.5 covering that, but then also the under of 47.5.
I love it.
Hitting
Putting
there.
yourself in a tight window.
Because I got the hosting ability to fall back on. Like I said, okay, here we go. This is all just, this is all appetizers for
Time to get messy.
what I'm very excited for here, and that is. We mentioned we're going to start on these shows doing all-time stacks. On Mondays, we will do actual teams where there will be like actual people to discuss, but we're going to get a little wacky on Wednesdays. So we are going with an all-time stack of on a deserted island. If the 3 of us are on a deserted island, what are the 4 things that you are going to bring with you? And because it is a stack and we're in DFS and you have position eligibility in a sport, we're going to have category eligibility here. So one category is a weapon, one category is sustenance, one category is a personal item that you love, and the 4th will be a flex. However, the flex you have to be able to carry with you. Your flex cannot be a helicopter. Bukes, I'm sorry. I knew that was where you were going.
When you said this in Slack, I was like, why would we even want to bring a helicopter anyway? It would just be like,
So I can
does anybody
leave.
Can anybody
I
here?
want to leave.
You can fly a helicopter. You can just see the headline, 3 sports writers stranded on island with helicopter die in helicopter crash. That wouldn't go well.
And in unfortunate news, the Dolphins and the Jets both won before the crash.
So we're going to collect our winnings. Another thing I said, like there is water available either via rainfall or a running river. You don't have to waste one on that. And I'll even say it's somehow, within the boundaries of the United States, so you can at least view the DK Sportsbook if you so wish, Julian.
Great.
Can't maybe
That
you can't
was,
place bets.
I was hoping you'd say that.
All right, so enough qualifiers there. Bukes will
Basically,
start
we're all
with
going
you.
to Hawaii together.
Yeah. Desert Island, though.
Yes.
Bukes, what are you bringing?
Okay, so weapon is definitely nunchucks. And I'll tell you why.
Definitely.
Well,
Of
we've
course.
already burned one pick.
All right,
Something
well-
dumb with us.
I know you can't fly a helicopter. Can you operate nunchucks?
See, that's the thing. I can't operate the nunchucks, but you never mess with a man with nunchucks. Because if he's carrying the nunchucks, you're like, oh, man, that guy knows how to use nunchucks.
Unless that man
All
is
you have
Steve
to do is
Buchanan.
walk around with one in each hand, grip him really hard, and then everyone's like, I'm not messing with him. So definitely nunchucks, because nobody would go after me just because of the respect.
This is a bad start.
No, it's not. Am I doing all 4?
Yeah,
Yep.
run through them.
Okay. My food would probably just be protein bars. Because
Okay.
I can eat those all day.
Non-perishable item.
There's a particular brand. I'm not going to say the brand, but
Okay.
it rhymes with best. We have them here in the office.
Okay.
So there's that. Item of personal value. I'm actually going to need some help from our producers, Matt. He's going to show a graphic on the screen so everybody on YouTube are in for a real treat. So we can throw that up. I made this last night. I would put that in a frame. It's a poster of Andrew Kashner with the words
Obama
hope
poster
underneath.
That
because-
is inspirational to all of us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's gonna help us rally
So like that Wolverine meme
because the
where he's, like-
underdogs can cash.
right. You know that Wolverine meme when he's like holding the frame and he's touching it.
Yes.
That would be in the frame.
Okay.
So whenever I'm feeling down, hope. Andrew Kashner.
All right. That's the first good thing that you're bringing.
I think that's the first positive thing we've actually said
I mean, I
about
took
Andrew
time to
Kashner
make
on
that
this
last
show.
night. I even took off the team logo so we could throw it up.
Big
And
time.
he didn't even ask to bill the hours. Wow, that is.
Well,
invoices haven't happened yet, so we'll do that.
And your flex.
It took Bukes 10 hours to make, by the way, Janko.
Flex would be my bathing suit, so I don't get wet.
Well,
That's it.
The bathing suit so you can get wet.
Well, I wet my regular clothes because no one wants to walk around all soggy, especially with the
Okay.
nunchucks.
Okay.
Alrighty then. I won't
think that
debate
was a
that.
great
My
4
my
hours.
flex is also very much a over the top, unnecessary but personal item that I would want. So
The watch.
it's not the watch. I will live without the watch.
I'm
Seeing that I've
surprised
worn
that
it
you
like
didn't-
twice.
Make a late tinker to your lineup and switch to Janko's watch that you're obsessed with.
Well,
Well, I have to kill him
lineups
to
haven't
fit it.
locked yet.
Lineups
We're
have
not
not
on the
locked.
plane to the desert island, so there's a chance.
All right, here we go. Weapon. I was really hoping, we'll still see what Janko has to bring, but I was really hoping you guys were going to bring like a gun and a bow and arrow so we could like hunt and kill some stuff. My
Nope.
weapon.
No.
God, all right, so we're in a bad place. My weapon is going to be a taser. Because if the three of us are going to be on a deserted island together, we're going to start annoying the hell out of each other. So when Bukes gets on my nerves, I just reach in my pocket, zap him, put him down for a nap, and he can wake up and apologize to me for annoying me.
But
and
you
then we just
wouldn't
move
come
on.
near me because I'd be holding the nunchucks and
I
be like, he
could
knows how
not
to
be
do
less
nunchucks.
afraid of you and your nunchucks, especially since I know you don't know how to use them. I would walk up to you with my taser. You would start swinging them around, probably knock yourself out with the nunchucks, and then I
I'm
could
just-
tase you while you were on the ground.
I have to hop in for a second. 12-minute warning because I can see where we're going here, and this room does need to be used for other things. So
Okay. All right. So the taser. And then maybe we can use it to hunt down something, give it a zap, cook up a wild boar
give
for
it
dinner.
time for Bukes to hit it with the nunchucks.
Yeah,
the
after Bukes
1,500
fails with the
times he'll
nunchucks
have
for an
to-
hour, I'll be like, hey, do you want some help, buddy? All right, sustenance. We obviously you said that there's going to be water, and
Yes.
we'll do some hunting together. So if we have water and we're going to find some animals, I'm just bringing as much beer as I can possibly fit into this personal package, because we're going to need a bunch of beers if we're broing out on an island. That
Sure.
one was pretty easy. A personal item, and I'm really glad that Janko mentioned that we are within the realms of the DK Sportsbook. My personal item is going to be this lovely laptop that's right in front of me because this is my favorite thing that I own, which leads to my flex, which will be a hotspot so that I can connect this laptop to the DK Sportsbook and to DraftKings and continue to entertain myself.
I was
What a
very,
company
very
homer.
ready to poo-poo the laptop for the internet reasons. You thought ahead. I appreciate that.
I was like, you gotta. If you bring the laptop, you guys are gonna say I can't connect. I need. And I
Hopefully-
used another full position on my ability. to connect to the
Unfortunately, I'm not
internet.
bringing solar panels, so there's no way to charge it. But you're gonna have at
Well,
least
it would
a
be
solid-
fun while the battery lasted.
I did not give us any time limit on this desert island anyways. Castaway, I think he spent like 3 or 4 or 5 years there, but that's all right. Okay, my desert island stack. My weapon, a pair of scissors. Because it's 2 knives, so 2 for the price of 1 if you really need them. You're going to be, it's a very multi-use tool. I'll be able to cut things to fashion sail if I want. Fashion other items, a net perhaps from clothing or other materials. If I really want to separate them, like I said, 2 knives, one of which can be tied to a stick to be used as a spear. You can whittle. A lot of different things. A lot of different things with scissors. So that's going to be my weapon. Nobody's even arguing, so that's how I know it's brilliant.
I'm just imagining you out there with your spear, Bukes out there with his nunchucks for like 6 hours trying to get something.
Well, I think we all
and
thought
then I
the
just come in
other.
with the taser and
Yeah.
out like a light.
Well, I think we all thought the other people would be bringing like a gun
We did.
or an axe.
So now we don't have one.
So now we don't have one.
But we have the watch.
Classic,
Very unfortunate.
very much like DFS, classic overthinking.
Yeah.
Ownership projections did not turn out that well. Sustenance, I'm going to bring, if I can carry them, grapevines, if not grape seeds. Some of you may know I'm a big connoisseur of fermented grape juice, which is called wine. Also edible.
Now we
fruit.
got wine and beers. Let's go,
Yep.
baby.
So I'll be able to ferment some wine if we're going to be out there for a while. But if not, at least you can eat eat the grapes as well. Thinking it'll probably have to be like a thicker skinned grape, warm climate, probably a Syrah, which is just so happens to be my favorite varietal, which is great. So I'm going to be having the time of my life with my scissors and my grapevines. Item of personal value. So there's a stack of paintings that my kids make, like probably about yay big. Like all they do apparently at daycare is paint, which is fine because the mess isn't in our house. But so good personal value, but then also like good kindling. If you know,
it holds immense personal value to me, but I'm completely willing to light it on fire.
Yeah, none of us are bringing matches, so it's already gonna be tough enough to make a fire.
Well, my taser could probably get something going.
Yeah, but you'll need paper, something that's a little bit more flammable. And then my flex, similar, to what Buke said there, like with the bathing suit, which is totally, really useless in the grand scheme of things. Mouthwash, because I get
it is a bad feeling.
Like I hate the feeling of my mouth just, having that dryness.
I would definitely tase you out a few times and use some of your mouthwash while you were out.
Well, so Buke's with hope, trying to bring us together to survive this. Edlow's turning it into Lord of the Flies, like we're really just gonna try and all kill each other.
No, that's why it's a taser. I just put you guys down for a little bit, do what I need while you're out, and then you're right back in business.
Oh, but last caveat, it's actually the Hunger Games. It's whoever the last one surviving. So, you guys have your nunchucks. I got my scissors. And
a lot of damage to be done there.
I don't think
really unfortunate we don't have any matches or guns or anything.
So if you somehow made it to the end of this show, kudos. And, leave us a comment. Your desert island stack but
you're with us,
or at least tell us who would come out on top out of the four that we mentioned. We can bring the graphic back up again so you guys see what we're each bringing. It would be quite an adventure. The battery on your laptop will last maybe 2 days because we're gonna be sweating some bet. And we're gonna want to stream the game.
I'm gonna have to be responsible and close the laptop and come check back around when I think the game will be ending.
Yeah,
that won't last for long though.
Sync up DK Live notifications.
Yeah, perfect.
Nice plug.
Got to get the shameless plug in there. We've now hit the checklist for all the episodes, so I think that means we can end the episode. This is the Panel B podcast. We'll be back on Monday with a team all-time stack on the Sacramento Kings, the team that came up in the random generators. So that'll be fun. Give us your ideas, though, for what our Wednesday stack should be. We'll also check in on how our pair of bets each that we made played out on Thursday/Sunday. Until then, for Julian Edlow, Steve Buchanan, I'm Alex Jankowski. We'll see you next time.